Hey guys, Andrew here, and today we're going to do an unboxing of the Marineland 5-gallon portrait fish tank, so stay tuned. This is around Valentine's Day, and my wife actually got me this portrait Marineland 5-gallon fish tank. It's an all-in-one kit, so if you've been researching this and you're wondering if you should get it, I'm going to tell you my thoughts on it as I set it up. So you can see I already took it out of the box, kind of like the one you see online, right? It really is an all-in-one kit as far as what I'm saying, but I want to take you through the process as I'm kind of putting it all together so you know what pain points you'll see in as well. But first, when we look at it, I can immediately tell that it needs something a little bit more, but I want you to take a look at it. Can you tell what it needs just by looking at the fish tank as it is? So I'll let you guys chew on that for a little bit while we'll talk about what's in the box and what you get. So essentially what you're gonna get in the Marineland 5-gallon portrait all-in-one kit is you're gonna get a 5-gallon fish tank. This thing is pretty sturdy, it's really thick, and the cool part about it is it has the curved glass. So this isn't 1, 2, 3 pieces of glass, right? This is one piece of glass, 2 for the back. Well, actually, I don't even think the one is in the bag. This is the filter that's built in there. So I think this is just 1, 2 pieces of glass, and that's it, which is pretty cool, right? You don't have those creases. Instead, you have this kind of curve that goes around. And so that just really enhances the viewing, that you can really look at it from all angles. And if you're at like kind of a diagonal angle, it's not that corner crease. Well, the silicone's not going to get away in the way of your viewing because it's not there. So it's really cool. The other thing I like about this tank is it is rimless, right? You don't see the black rim up top. You don't see the black rim on the bottom. So it's just seamless, and it's a beautiful design. The filter in the back is hidden. You can't really see it. So one pain point that there may be is that the filter may take up some of that 5-gallon fish space, so you don't really have 5 gallons. Well, what we're gonna do later on, I'm actually gonna do the measurements to see how much swimming space your fishies will have as well, just so we'll know going into it. All right, so another thing that you'll probably notice is that this is actually a floating design, which I kind of like, right? And you could use it or you can change it up depending on your preference. But it actually comes with this plastic stand that it sits on, and so that the bottom of the glass is actually not touching this cabinet here. And so there's a good inch or so gap that it's just kind of sitting on, where it has that floating type effect. And so with that floating type concept, you can it actually just picks up. You can actually pick up the fish tank and it's not attached to the stand anymore, right? And if I actually leave it off, it'll look more or less like that. And so it can look pretty good either way, right? Whether you have it with the stand or not. But the cool thing about the stand, it is made out of plastic, but it does have this like rubber grip on both sides. And what I noticed is that what I was scared of is when I put the fish tank on there, it's gonna slide off easy. But this grip really holds it in place, so your fish tank doesn't slide on this. But the stand itself does slide on your cabinet. And so, depending on what your cabinet's finished with, that may be a non-issue, but you may still want a leveling mat underneath just so it doesn't shift or is easy to move in general, right? But as far as it falling off of this right here, it's not going to, because it grips very well. Now, as far as the filter comes with one disposable filter cartridge, and I would really say just throw this away, right? Most of your filter kits or your all-in-one kits, they come with a cartridge type system. That's really just to take your money, right? So once this goes bad, you have to buy another one, and so on and so forth. You really just want to get a good sponge to put in there, or some Biomax filter rings, or lava rock even. There's lots of different reusable permanent type filtration that you can put in there that you're not gonna have to change every couple months. This is gonna be the top of the fish tank here, and the light just swivels upwards like that. And so it's pretty neat. And then this top piece of glass actually comes off. And it's a really dense piece of glass. And it has these little plastic edges so that it can just rest right on top. You can immediately see the outtake. So this is where it comes out of the water. And the water is going to be sucked in through here. If we lift up the filter area, if this is where the media goes, it would make sense that it has to go through here, down through here, and then up out through here. So how the filter system works, there's really two types of way to get a filter to work. Either you have a pump pumping the water, or you have an air stone moving the water, like maybe with a sponge filter setup, right? But most filter setups are gonna have some kind of pump. This is no exception, right? And so this one does come with a pump. This thing is actually inside in the back and it's not set up. So you gotta take it out and then you gotta reconnect it. But this is how it comes already. So it comes with a little pump, and then this pump is attached to this tubing, and the top of this tubing is actually gonna connect to the other side of that outlet spout that we saw in the tank. And then what's gonna happen is the pump is gonna push water out through here, and it's gonna pull water in through here. And so that's essentially how it's gonna get the water moving. And then obviously it is submergible, right? So this is gonna be in water, and you're gonna plug the other in into your outlet, obviously, right? Now it does come with a couple extra pieces that we need to put on here, and that's in the back of the tank. So I'm gonna have to pick up the tank, turn it upside down, and dump it out because I couldn't get my hand back there. Oh, you know what I just noticed, guys, as I was dumping it out? The filter cartridge actually pulls out. So it has room to fit a good sized sponge, and then it actually comes with its own reusable sponge. Now this is the kind of sponge that I have in just about all my filters and all my tanks. It comes with just a little coarse sponge like this, and this allows a ton of bacteria to grow on. So I have these, and I have the Biomax ceramic rings that I put in there, which is kind of like lava stone. So you could just buy some smaller lava stone, because lava stone is so porous that it's gonna allow that beneficial bacteria to grow all over it. All right, so as far as the pump, there are some extra pieces. There is the propeller. This little white thing's the propeller. And then it does have the little propeller cap, I guess we would call it. And then it comes with just the face plate, the face covering, so that it isn't exposed. But really all you need to do is you need to take your propeller, see if I can get it, and you need to put it inside. It's just gonna fit in nice and snugly, and it's actually like magnetic. So you just barely put it in there. I don't know if you guys saw that. You barely put it in there, you let it go, and it slides right in. So it is kind of dummy proof, and that makes it easy to put in. But then you're gonna need this round cap, and you want to put that over the propeller. It's kind of the propeller guard, I guess we would call it. And then once that's in place, then you can put the face covering on it. And really it's shaped the same way, so there's really only one way for it to go. So that makes it easy to just snap in place. So all you need to do is take the pump section, set it to your desired speed. And so this may be a trial and error, right? Maybe once you have it in there, you're gonna figure out it's too high or too low. But you're just gonna drop it in. And then this nozzle right here is gonna connect to this guy over here. And it really just pushes in there, and that's it, it's done. Now you just have to plug it in with the other side, but there isn't an on and off switch, so once you plug it up, it's gonna start going. And if there's no water in there, it's gonna burn out. So don't plug it up until you have it fully submerged with water. And that's essentially the setup. So the setup is really easy. The setup may take like 10 minutes max. All I need to do is put the filter media that I want in there, and then fill it up in water and make sure everything works. But what I want to show you guys is that one thing that it needs extra, I think. And this is probably just more important if you had a planted aquarium, if you're going to do the planted route, which I suggest you do. But if you look at it, there isn't a ton of light coming from this little light source. You can really see the difference between this And if you upgrade, extra $20 light, which its light source is a lot more, you go from what it was to that. And so I don't know if you can see the difference between that one and that one. And so there's just a ton more light between that one and that one. New light, original light. And so regardless of which way you go, if you're gonna do the planet tank, I say upgrade the light. But if you're not, then that may be a perfectly good light source for you anyways, because if you're gonna upgrade your light and not have a planet tank, then you're probably gonna have more algae problems because you don't have plants eating up all those extra nutrients. So next we're gonna go ahead and fill it up with water, make sure the pump works, and see how powerful it is at the same time, and then that'll be that. I'm not gonna fill it all the way up to do the filter test because I'm gonna have to take it all back down when I do the scape anyways. So let me go ahead and plug up the filter, and I wanna see exactly how strong the flow is that comes out of there. Guys, so you heard that there was a screeching noise, and I figured out why. It's because there's no water in the back part where the filter goes. So I thought because I filled it up this much that the back part is also filled that much, which would mean that the filter is underwater because the filter's already down at the bottom, but in the back. But I just checked back there and there's no water back there, which means that I'm gonna have to pour more water in there, specifically in that back portion, so that it can start doing its filter thing, which also means I am going to have to fill this thing all the way up, because the only way water goes to the back portion is through that top vent back here. The water comes in through here and it comes out through this outlet. All right, so double check the back, the pump area, the filter area is full with water. Obviously the front's full with water. So we're gonna try the pump test one more time and we're gonna see how strong that flow is. So the flow seems pretty strong for that tiny pump, so I'm kind of impressed. Let me show you from the top view so you can kind of see how quickly it's pushing the water out. So if we take a look from the top view, you can see here's the outlet and it's pushing a good bit. So you can push this, you can angle this to go further under the water, to be pointed diagonally, however you kind of want. It's pretty flexible from what I've seen, but it's definitely moving the water around, which is great. You can see the little particles getting pushed around. All right guys, next let's do the measurements for just the tank portion of this aquarium to find out what its actual volume is in terms of gallons, to see how much room that filter takes up. So we have 7.5 deep, 9.5 wide, and 14 inches tall. I'm gonna go ahead and plug that into my calculator and we're gonna see how many gallons of swimming area there is. So according to WikiHow, all you have to do for a square or rectangular type tank to figure out how many gallons are in here is you multiply the length by the width by the depth of the tank and then divide by 231. All right, so let's see what that would be. So it's 7.5 times 9.5 times, how tall was it? I think I said 17 or 14, let me see. Times 14 equals 997. Now we're gonna divide by 231. So that's 4.31 gallons. So that means the filter area only takes up about 3/4 of 1 gallon. I know I heard a lot of comments about the built-in filters taking up like half of the swimming space, but that's not the case. It takes up 14% of the swimming space. That's it. So you have the majority of the 5 gallons, 4.3 gallons to be exact, of swimming area still left, right? And the other 0.7 gallons is where all the filtration is happening that's helping your fish and your plants stay alive. All right, guys, so that's the whole setup. Everything's put together. You have your filter, you have your lights, you have your fish tank, you have your stand, you have all that. All of it's right here, which is really nice. So let's talk about pros and cons. Pros first. The pros, one, it's a beautiful tank with a beautiful design. It has this curved edges where it's just one pane of glass but curved to really maximize viewing angles and your viewing experience. So it's a really sleek design that looks really good in person. The second pro is, at least for me, is that the background is already black. Right? I didn't have to put on a background. I didn't have to paint it black. None of that. Because there's a filter back there, it is already black, right? And I didn't have to buy extra to do that. Pro number 3 is that it's incredibly easy to put together. It only took maybe about 10 minutes to put everything together. This glass was really well packaged, and not only that, but that goes into the next pro, is that the glass was really thick, right? This isn't really thin glass that's gonna break easy. This is the top, the lid. If you're scared of the shipping process, that, oh, I mean, if I'm gonna buy a fish tank online, and you're scared of it breaking whenever it arrives to you, this one seems to be pretty heavy duty, so I really like that. As far as the cons, I would say there's really only one con to this system that I know of so far, right? And that is the lighting, right? The lighting's not much. So if you're gonna have a planted tank, I say go ahead and pull the trigger. It's a beautiful looking tank that really maximizes the viewing experience, and it's just so easy to set up. But make sure to upgrade your light, because that's just gonna make it all the more better. All right, guys, and that wraps up the pros and cons and today's video. If you want to see me aquascape this aquarium, click here.